The game here is build it once, sell it an infinite amount of times. So before we get stuck into today's video, I wanted to do a little poll, and I wanted to see if anybody would be interested in me creating a Patreon account in which you would get early access to some of these videos. It could include a Discord channel where you get access to myself and we can start to talk about esoterics, sexual energy mastery, entrepreneurship, business strategies, and some of the other material that I cover here on Twitter, YouTube, and on Instagram. If that would be something you're interested in, just drop a little comment down below, and if there's enough interest, then I'll see what I can organize around that. But today's video, we're going to talk about digital real estate. We're taking a little tangent off some of the usual subject material that I cover here on YouTube, and I really wanted to give back, I suppose, some really valuable lessons from being fairly seasoned now in the digital landscape, and why you should be taking advantage of this idea that there is a potentiality for you to start receiving pure passive income. And I'm not talking about passive income in the form of actually selling your time. I'm talking about you waking up every morning with money in your bank account as a consequence of building up a digital audience, on a digital platforms such as YouTube, such as Twitter, such as Instagram. You building trust, an authentic relationship, giving free value, and then committing to follow up with that value on some of the more, let's say, closer followers with some paid services and a paid product. So what is this idea about? This idea is that you have at your disposal social media accounts, which you don't need to pay for, that are online 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And I like to use this analogy of your social media accounts being similar to that of stores. So like a store for your business. And if I could tell you now, hey, you can get a free store that is, again, open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and is also accessible anywhere in the world with an internet connection, which is over probably 4 to 5 billion people, you would bite my hand off at the opportunity to open such a store and have that as an asset. So when I start to explain the rationality in those terms, the decision to seriously commit to making your own online business, other creative pursuits that you find personally interesting, and give them out freely to the world on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. Those are the big three. If you're not leveraging that, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and potentially the ability for you to quit your 9-to-5 job, be your own boss, and not be not have to answer to anyone else apart from yourself. So how does one start to do this? Well, the way I would highly encourage anybody who's looking to add another or several streams of income to their monthly income, is through Twitter. Why Twitter? Well, Twitter has a very high turnover of information. Also, I think it's about 1% of accounts on Twitter have over 1,000 followers. So if you're already over 1,000 followers, you come into a very, very the top 1% of authority on that particular platform. And then there becomes a snowballing effect where people see the social proof of your following, begin to follow you, and it just compounds and compounds every month. And I think it's gotten to the point now where I average around 4,000 to 5,000 new followers on Twitter every single month. It's absolutely mind-boggling when I think about it. I only started Twitter a year ago, and it's just one of those platforms where it has the greatest potential for you to start cultivating an audience very, very, very quickly. And I'm talking in the space of 3 to 6 months, you can have a concrete audience base that hopefully likes your material. Obviously, you've got to be a good content creator as well, but to the point where you can start gaining passive income off. So that would be my biggest value contribution to yourselves. If you're umming and ahhing about maybe YouTube, there's something romantic about YouTube as well. It's a little bit more, I think, intimate because we can interface face to face, so to speak. Instagram, has some other benefits that I'm kind of playing around with at the moment, but Twitter for me has really been a game changer. So I would highly encourage anybody who's looking to start to, again, add those other revenue streams to their monthly recurring revenue. Start with Twitter. It's going to be your biggest asset moving forward. So coming back to that idea, digital real estate, that is a piece of property that you own. My Twitter account is a piece of property that I own that has been responsible for a large portion of my income over the last year. Like I said, this can happen very quickly. Other streams of income or other, let's say, digital real estate platforms you want to be looking at is YouTube. Now, I don't believe that YouTube is necessarily a essential digital piece of real estate that you need to own. I do say, because I get a lot of messages of people saying, they want to start a YouTube account, what are some tips, how do I get started? The biggest take home for me on this particular journey of talking to you guys and sharing some of my knowledge is the fact that it is a long-term game. I always say to people who are looking to create a YouTube account is, if you can make a video every single week for the next year, but expect nothing back, nothing in return, then you can really make a killing in this game. What does that mean? Well, I posted, it was more than one video a week, it was sometimes 2 to 3 videos per week. And in the first year of starting, I probably had about 300 subscribers. Now, many of you will hear that statistic and that fact and think that's just not worth it. For the amount of energy I'm putting into these videos, I will expect a higher return. And you might do. You might do better than me. I'm just telling you from my own personal experience that it takes a while to build trust with the social media, to the YouTube algorithm, for them to start suggesting your videos. So you have to be consistent. And I've said many times on this YouTube channel and in my first video is that I'm not attached to those outcomes, and I would be doing these videos regardless because I enjoy talking to people and I enjoy teaching. And that's why I'm starting to get a little bit more popular. I'm getting more subscribers every day, and God bless all of you that have subscribed. But it's a long-term investment. If you're going to put 5k into a stocks, you have to commit to saying that you're not going to touch that money for another 5 years at a minimum. The same thing with YouTube is, can you commit to doing this and not seeing any returns for at least a year minimum? And even now, I'm coming up to 2 years in this game, where I think we're at 4,000 subs right now, which is awesome. But that compounding effect is just going to continue. And it can only take one video that gets caught on the algorithm and you just start to blow up inevitably. So guys, we're coming a little bit to 10 minutes here, and I just wanted to give you some ideas about how you can really start to become a digital landlord. That's the game here. You want to be that guy that owns all these free pieces of digital property online, that doesn't need to keep, again, creating multiple products and paying upfront cost fees like publishing fees for books or for CDs. It's the game here is build it once, sell it an infinite amount of times. That's how you get rich. You don't want to be renting out your time to somebody else, because that's just not going to work. So you have to own an asset. You have to own something, again, that is going to continually bring you income over time without you having to, again, trade your time in, trade your money in, trade your energy in. You want it there, so the pieces that you have in play, the properties that you have in play, are so big that they almost have their own gravity field, and they're just bringing in your audience towards your free value that you're giving out in free videos, free tweets, free Instagram posts, or if you have a blog or anything like that. And then you can just start to, those assets are going to work for yourself. Just like owning a piece of property in the UK or the US, wherever you're from, year after year, it just accumulates value. So guys, a little bit of a different video today, but I want you to start thinking about all these opportunities that you're potentially missing out on and what is true passive income. Not this bullshit about, again, selling your time for money. This is real passive income. So guys, if you enjoy this video, if you subscribe to me, if you subscribe to the content, you can subscribe to me, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Take care.